What's going on, guys? Got another knife review here for you. Today we're going to be looking at the Scot Matsuoka Shadow. This is a knife that I recently got in my collection, but unfortunately is going back to its owner, given a couple of issues. But just wanted to show this one off really quick, talk a little bit about Scot Matsuoka as a maker and the knife in general. So Scot Matsuoka is a knife maker out of Hawaii, and obviously there's a lot of great knife makers from there. Himself, and then Ken Onion is another one, and then Tom Mayo, obviously maybe the most prolific knife maker out of Hawaii. But you could argue Ken Onion as well. He's very popular. And then my favorites, I think one of my favorite knife makers, even though I don't have any knives from him, is Nalu. I think on YouTube his screen name is How's It. But Nick has been showing off a number of his knives, Shox One, and they're just phenomenal. I love Nalu's knives, and design and features and stuff. I think is probably one of the most beautiful knives out there. So can't wait to get one of Nalu's knives. But back to Scot Matsuoka. Scot Matsuoka, I think, got a lot of his design elements, and he learned a lot from Ken Onion way back when he was first starting to make knives. And so his knives actually have a lot of design influence from Ken Onion. And here's the thing, I'm not a huge fan of Ken Onion's designs. I know that Ken Onion himself is a very great knife maker. I have a couple of his knives, or at least the production style knives. I recently found out that the blur actually is a custom, he actually has a custom blur, which I saw at some videos from, what's it called, Gathering, USN Gathering, and it was pretty cool. It was actually a flipper, and that was a pretty awesome knife. I think the Lord Chris himself, my friend Chris, he was showing it off, and it was pretty sweet. Here's a Ken Onion Swindle, which I like, but also very eccentric with this upward sweeping blade. This 0300, also the 0350 are all Ken Onion designs. So, it has a lot of organic curves for these knives. I like these because they are overbuilt, and the recurve isn't, overly done. But that's just a small aside. When you look at this work from Scot, in this Shadow, you get, again, a very eccentric looking knife. This kind of spear point blade, very well done blade, beautiful grinds. Does use IKBS right here. This obviously being a flipper as well. Use a Hinder lock bar stabilizer. Full titanium construction, very thin knife overall compared to, say the Sebenza. Sebenza's somewhat stockier, especially with the inlays. Blade stock is probably similar, maybe a little bit thicker on the Matsuoka, maybe like 0.13 or 135 or something like that. But the titanium scales are pretty thin, around 0.12. I didn't bring any calipers to this, but I'm just kind of approximating it based on what I saw on the Sebenza. Overall, running IKBS, very smooth knife. You can see how easily it flips up like that. It just falls back into its handle so easily, so smooth. So IKBS I love IKBS. A lot of people talk about how hard it is to take it apart. I mean, if you're just careful, when you're pulling the handles apart, there's no issue. I've taken a bodega apart. I've taken, a lot of IKBS knives apart, and there's never really... I've lost one. I lost some bearings on this knife, and that was because I didn't know this doesn't have any markings for IKBS and the Steve Kelly collision. So I did lose a couple of bearings on this one. But the good thing about IKBS is it still runs just fine, and you can buy some new ones. I'm going to get some ceramic IKBS bearings on eBay eventually to replace them in some of my knives. But sorry, a little tangent there. Back to this knife. In terms of design, again, you do see a lot of the Ken Onion influence in terms of the curves and things. No recurve on this one, but from this curvish blade to this straight handled, I mean, for me, I can see a lot of Ken Onion design, and obviously, Scot has his own flair to his own knives. But very solid knife. Right now, I can tighten the screw down a little bit, but you know, there's a little bit of side-to-side play on here. And this one actually, like I said in the beginning, is going back to its owner because there's a little bit of issue with the lock. So it is slipping, and so you know, he's going to send it back to Scott to get fixed up. But overall, I'm not going to keep this video too long. It's a pretty cool blade. I like Scott's work. I'm going to be reviewing his another knife of his, the Pano, and you know, all good blades, but yeah, unfortunately, just not my style. Yeah, again, because Ken Onion's design is just not my style. But this one's got the mayonnaised holes on here, which is really nice. I like that look a lot. So anyway, yeah, I'm just keep it short here. Not talk too much about it. But Scot Matsuoka, you know, definitely a knife maker to check out, especially if you like his designs. If you do, then definitely worth checking out because he makes a good solid knife in general. So this particular example is not perfect, so it's going to get sent back in, but Scott's definitely going to check it out and take care of his customers. Alright, so thanks guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys on the next vid. Bye.